Okay, guys, thanks for joining today's session. And today is the ninth day. And what we are going to cover today, we are going to cover most important thing, which is very, very important. And because in each and every integration, you need to involve ERP, BI report, and then the stuff. And most of the organizations are using the ERP, and if they are using OIC, absolutely yes, then you need to connect ERP via the OIC too. So the use cases which I'm going to explain, they are very, very useful and you need to practice them as well. So guys, actually I don't have the ERP instance, but yes, I can show you what approach you need to take, how to make an integration end to end, so that you can do practice yourself if you have the ERP instance. If you guys have a ERP instance, so that if you have the ERP instance, just please share the credentials. If you cannot share, then I will share my screen. You can enter the credentials so that we can do a demo end to end. But in the last batch, I had the credentials of the ERP. I have executed the use cases end to end, and I will share that video too in the same folder. You can take that too. Okay, so let's go ahead and what we are going to do, we will show you how to consume a BI report, which is one of the important use case in the integration, and a lot of people are asking how to consume BI reports. I will show you, demonstrate how to consume the BI reports in the integration cloud. We will look at how to use ERP adapter, what are the capabilities of the ERP adapter, one of the important use case when we come to the ERP, like how to import bulk data into the ERP via FBDI approach. And then in order to complete that import bulk data into the ERP, you have to have a couple of things which I'm going to explain through this presentation. And we will show you how to download the FBDI template, because each and every job which you want to kick off for the ERP, they have their own FBDI template. So you must have the FBDI template in place, and all FBDI templates are available over Oracle documentation. You can download that and then create your FBDI template as per the need. Flow, what is the complete flow to import data into the ERP via OIC using the FBDI approach. The job property file format, you need to create a job property file when you take this FBDI approach. How to get the job package name and then parameters. How to register the CSV key for callback or to subscribe events. So this is the agenda of today's session. And in the last class, we have seen the SFDC adapter, the ATP adapter, and how to work with publisher subscriber mechanisms, how to use the publish to OIC and subscribe to OIC pattern. So guys, if you have any question from the last session, you can please ask. Otherwise, I will move forward and then continue with the session. Okay. So first, I'm going to explain the ERP adapter. What ERP adapter is? Integration provides one predefined adapter called Oracle ERP adapter, Oracle ERP cloud adapter, which allows you to interact with the Oracle ERP cloud system. So whenever you have a requirement to connect to the ERP in terms of you want to subscribe the events, in terms of you want to create some data into the ERP, you want to import the bulk data, you want to kick off any job, you want to fetch some data, Oracle recommends to use the Oracle ERP adapter instead of using their REST APIs. Oracle ERP provides decent REST APIs as well, which you can use to interact with the ERP system using the REST adapter. But you only need to use REST APIs whenever your Oracle ERP adapter does not fulfill your purpose. So in that case, you can go ahead and then use the REST APIs of the ERP. You can find out all the REST APIs of the Oracle ERP in the Oracle documentation. They are available there. The APIs are very common for each and every organization. So what are the capabilities of the ERP? You can subscribe the events in order to make one real-time integration. Let's suppose you want to subscribe the purchase order events on the once it is approved. So you can subscribe those events. So you have to create a Oracle ERP adapter as a trigger role, and you can use this adapter at the in the app driven on the trigger point. And when you will drop this ERP adapter, you will have an option to subscribe the business events, and then you will see all the objects there, like the purchase orders, like the AR invoice, AP invoice, cases and suppliers, and lot of many. You can select any one of the object from there, and then you can filter the events as well. Let's suppose you want to subscribe only the approved purchase orders, or you only wanted to get the validated order. So you can apply the XSLT, means one XSLT there, and where you can mention if the status is approved, then only get the events from the purchase order in the OIC. Plus, you have a nice option in the Oracle ERP adapter, like maybe you guys have heard about FBDI, which is called file-based data import, which is one of the non-mechanisms when you need to import bulk data into the ERP. You can prepare one FBDI template and import into the Oracle ERP. Similarly, if you want to automate this solution via the OIC, Oracle ERP adapter allows one option wherein you can kick off any one of the job available in the ERP to import the bulk data, such as suppliers, such as invoices, such as the purchase orders, whatever you want. Plus, it also provide a mechanism to create any object, like you want to create a purchase order, you can do that. If you want to update anything in the ERP, you can do that too. Plus, if you want to subscribe the callback, let's suppose you will kick off any job in the ERP, and once a job will be completed, you want to get a callback, you can do that as well via the Oracle ERP adapter. So what you have to do, you have to create one integration using the app-driven orchestration, and you have to drop the ERP adapter on the trigger point and select the callback. I will explain that one as well. So these are the capabilities which can be carried out using that ERP adapter. Okay. So here in this presentation, I am going to explain the full process which you need to take while you need to create a bulk import process into the ERP. How you will create that integration. So first, let me just describe the requirement. So sometimes what happens, you have one third-party systems which creates the suppliers, and they create the supplier and keep those suppliers on the FTP location. So this is one of the famous use case for the Oracle Integration Cloud. And you can explain the same to your interviewer as well if you sit down in any one of the interviews. So what happens is, let's suppose you are downstream you are one of the source application creates subscribe.
Hello, Uncle. Are you showing something? Actually, your screen is not showing anything.
I'm not showing anything. I'm explaining it.
Okay.
I can. I hope, but you can see the presentation, right? The import data into ERP. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I'm just explaining. Yeah. Thank you. I'm just explaining the use case. Like, let's suppose there is one application which is creating suppliers, and then you need to upload these suppliers into your ERP as a bulk data via the FBDI approach. Let's take an example that there's a one CSV file on the FTP location where you have the supplier's details and then other supplier information as well. And you want to take that CSV file and import that CSV file into the ERP using the FBDI approach. So how you need to make that solution? You first, there are a couple of things you would be requiring. First, you would be requiring that FTP, and you should know what kind of CSV file they have, the format. Then you need to upload that data into the ERP. Let's suppose you are uploading the suppliers. So when you upload the suppliers into the ERP via the FBDI approach, so in order to upload these files, you should prepare one file, which is called the FBDI file. And you should have one template in place already to create that file. So that FBDI template you can download from the Oracle documentation, which I will show you. And once your file is prepared via the using that CSV file, which is on the FTP location, then you need to create one properties file to give instructions to the ERP. Yes, this is my package name, which I want to kick off with those values. So there's a simple properties file with extension dot properties, wherein you need to mention 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 values, and maybe more depending on the job which you want to kick off. And then bundle the FBDI file and the properties file into a single zip file and kick off your ERP adapter and call the FBDI job. And while you configure the ERP adapter to kick off the FBDI job, you have an option to get the callback as well. You require the callback or not. So you create one schedule integration wherein you will list all the files from the FTP location. You will read the file one by one. You will create the FBDI file, and then once your FBDI file is created, you need to create one properties file, zip both the files, and then upload into the ERP via the FBDI approach. And let's suppose you have enabled ERP adapter to get the callback as well. Then you have to create another integration basis on the app-driven orchestration pattern. In that app-driven orchestration pattern, you have to drop the ERP adapter, the trigger point, and then you have to select the same job which you have kicked off in your schedule integration. And once your job will be kicked off, and once it is completed or the failed, you will get one callback on the another integration, wherein you will get the complete status plus few logs file, which you can send to any one of the system. So this is the whole process which we need to develop while we need to develop such kind of solutions. So ERP adapter allows you to import bulk data using the file-based data import. FBDI is the best way to get mass conversions done in the shortest time. Oracle provides the FBDI tool to import bulk data from the external sources to the Oracle Fusion system. Before we upload, our FBDI template needs to be downloaded and create a structured FBDI file to import. So here I have shown one example here. Let's suppose each job like supplier, AR, AP, etc. has different FBDI template which you can download from the Google. For example, to import supplier, open that link and then go to supplier and then go to the import suppliers and then download this template. Like XSLT template supplier import template.this file. You can download this file, and then you need to prepare the CSV file in the same format in your OIC. I will show you that one. So when you will download this file will have two sheets. One as the instructions. This will have an instruction and will have one generate CSV file button, which will generate a zip file having the supplier file format, which you need to create as part of the integration, and a sample FBDI file. So this is the complete flow which I have explained. What will be the flow to import data into your ERP? Like first step, you have to develop a scheduled process. Then you might have multiple files on your FTP. So it is always the best practice that list files from the SFTP. Let's suppose you have two files. Then you have to loop over both the files one by one. And here you can first download the file to a stage. Why I am downloading the file to the stage? Because it might be the possible that the file you are trying to read from the SFTP, it is more than the 10 MB. So if you will try to read the file more than 10 MB, your integration may get failed. So before you read the file, better to download the file on the stage. And then once your file is downloaded, you can read the file into the chunks and create the FBDI file via the format. Once your file is created, you can go ahead and then create a job property file. And your FBDI file is ready, your job file is ready.
Yeah, Ankur, your sound was not coming last 1 minute. I don't know what's with me only or with everyone.
No, for everyone, I think. Can you please repeat this task again?
Okay. Can you
Last
hear
from
now?
3.1.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's audible now.
Okay, fine. Let me just explain it again. So the first step is you need to develop a schedule process. And then you need to use the FTP adapter and provide one operation called list to list all the files from the SFTP during that schedule frequency. Since there are multiple files, you need to loop over the files one by one. And in the 3.1 step, you need to download the file to the stage instead of reading the complete file. Why? We need to download it. The file which you are trying to read from the SFTP, it may be a more than 10 MB. If you will try to read the file directly and it's more than 10 MB, your integration will get failed due to the FTP limitation. So it's always the best practice to download the file. And then in the step 3.2, read the file into the chunks. And then create a FBDI file in the format which is expected by the ERP, whether it is supplier, AR, APE, purchase order, whatever it is. Create a FBDI file. You can put your logics while you read the file into the chunks here. And once your FBDI file is ready, and whatever file you are creating, you will create that file on the stage only on a particular location, let's say /temp. And as a fourth step, you need to create a job property file, which will give an indication to the ERP what is the job which you are trying to kick off, and plus few other parameters, values. And both the files, the FBDI file as well as the properties file, should be on the same stage location. If you have provided the /temp, here also you have to provide the /temp. And then once both the files are ready, you can zip both the files. Zip the FBDI and job property file and upload that zip file into your ERP. So this is the complete flow which you need to take. I will show you that end to end, how you need to take that integration so that you can understand easily. So when you create that job property file, I explained that the format of the FBDI file, and now there's a format which you need to use to create a properties file, which is very, very important. And the interviewer also can ask what will be the file format of your properties file when you try to upload the FBDI into the ERP. So as part of the step 4 here, we need to generate a property file that requires the job package and the name, including the list of job parameters when submitting respective bulk import job. So the format looks like the first column of the property file will be the job package name, which you can get from the ERP very easily. I will show you. Comma, job definition name, comma, zip file prefix. So here you have seen that in the 5th step, we are creating one zip file. And let's suppose the zip file, you have given a name ABC underscore date and time dot zip. So here in the third parameter, you will provide the zip file prefix like ABC. The first is the package name, the complete path of the package, the job name, and the zip file prefix. So these 3 parameters, and then there will be a parameter 1 to parameter n. So the parameter 1 to parameter n depends on the job which you are which you will kick off. So if it is supplier, there may be a different set of parameters. If it is the AR, there may be a different set of parameters. It can be a 2, it can be 3, it can be 10, it can be more. So this is the complete file which you need to generate, and the extension must be dot properties. So zip property file format is job package name, the first parameter, and job package name is the first parameter which can be extracted from the ERP, which represents the path of a job. If you are trying to import supplier, the path will be /oracle/apps ess prc poj supplier import. So this will be the complete value of your first parameter. The second parameter value, the job definition name, is the second parameter which can also be extracted from the ERP, which represents the ERP job name. In case of the import supplier, the second parameter value will be import suppliers. The zip file prefix. The zip file prefix is the third parameter, is the name of the zip file that contains the data file. For example, if the zip file name is this POZ suppliers int underscore 25072020.zip and contains these CSV file and the supply.properties file, then the value of the third parameter will become POZ suppliers int. So these are the three parameters values. Then the param M1 to param N, the next set of parameters are the job parameters of the object being imported. It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, depending on the job. For import supplier, there are total 5 parameters value which you need to supply here. So this is how you need to prepare your job property file. Let's see how to get the job package name and then parameters from the ERP. So in order to get the job package name and then parameter, you should log in into the ERP, click on the name and then go to setup and maintenance. Might be few of you already knows about this procedure. On that setup page, select your setup offering such as financials. Click on the task icon and click on the search. Click here and then click on the search. Why I am showing you each and everything on the slide? Because I don't have the correct credentials as of now. Hence, I have captured all these through the PPT. Then here, once you click on the search button, it will take you to this search page wherein you can search for this manage enterprise scheduler job. Enterprise scheduler job, and here you select this manage enterprise scheduler job definition and job set for financial supply chain management and related application. If you want to kick off the job related to the CRM, you can select the first one. If you are kicking off the job for the HCM, you can select the third option. But we are doing for the financials, so select this one. Once you will go there, from here you can select the import supplier because we want to import the suppliers. Simply search it from here and the search result will be there, and then click on this and click on the edit button. Once select this import supplier and then click on the edit button. Once you will do this, you can get all these three things. Here, the path is the value of first parameter. The name will be the second parameter. And the parameters will be 5. Parameter prompt, you see import options, report exceptions only, batch ID, report exceptions display, and then import options. So these are the parameters. And then accordingly, depending on the mandatory, you need to supply all these. If the mandatory, you have to supply the values, else you can supply the null as a hard-coded string. Data type and the parameter and values. So here you see required, which means you need to supply all the values. So here the final content of the properties file will become like this: the first, the package path, the job name, and then this value, which is your the zip property zip file prefix and the value new, and then if you need to supply non-mandatory values, so you can supply hash null, and then hash null. Any question, anyone so far? Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, Ankur.
Yes, Ankur. Cool. Now, so till now you are good. You will be able to create the properties file as well as the FBDI. Now, as I mentioned that you need to register for the callback, or you may also need to subscribe the events from the ERP. So the CSF key registration is the mandatory step in case you want to get the callback or you want to capture the events. You have to register the CSF key in the ERP SOA composer. If you have
when you say callback, what it exactly means? Means I'm not able to connect
a
this.
callback is, let's suppose you are trying to call someone, right? Then the response means asynchronous response. The asynchronous response as in I'm just taking a very layman example here, not the ERP one. Let's suppose you are going to the bank and you want to apply for the loan, right? When you apply the loan, you may need to submit a form. When you will submit a form, you will not immediately get a response. Your form will be analyzed and then you will be notified accordingly. Your loan is approved or not. That is your callback. Means someone has called you back. You got it? Similarly, when you will initiate a job in the ERP, you may need the response back that what is the status of my job? What is the status of my job? What is the status of my data? Has been imported or not? Since why I'm saying it is callback, because when you will import the bulk data, while you are trying to import the bulk data, it may take little time to import successfully into the ERP. It may take few minutes, it may take few hours also. So when you will kick off the job, you cannot wait your integration to get the response back, because there is some limitation in case of the synchronous response. So you will have to register for the callback, and you will create a new integration, and once your job will be completed into the ERP, it will send one email, or sorry, it will send one message to your integration. I hope you were in the last class where we have seen the SFDC subscription events.
Yes.
Right? Where,
got your point.
Yeah, something like this.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
No problem. So this is one of the important question also, which is being asked in the interview sometimes.
And CSP stand for means certified credential store framework something?
It is, I don't remember exactly, but I can see that. It's a standard one, CSFP.
Google is saying that credential what is this? Credential store framework. I don't know. It's a correct one or
might be. So CSF key in ERP, in order to get the successful callback or to register the events, to get the subscribe the events, you must register the CSF key in the ERP. And only the admins or the suitable guy who has the permission to log in into the SOA composer, they can register the CSF key. A CSF key must be created to subscribe events from the Oracle ERP cloud. This key is required by the event handler framework when it invokes the integration. The credentials of the integrations are managed by the CSF key. CSF key is created using the Oracle SOA composer. So following information is required to create a CSF key. One is the Oracle Integration Cloud Identity Domain. Second, Oracle Integration Cloud Service Instance Name. Third is Oracle Integration Cloud Username and password. And the CSF key will be the combination of your identity domain plus the service instance name. For example, how you can get the identity domain and then service instance name. How you can get that? You will see the login into the OIC, click on the name initials from the top right corner of the page and click on the about. I have shown you in the first class. Here you see the service instance name is your my OIC and then identity domain is this one. So your CSF key will become like this. The identity domain till C, CF and then my OIC without space. And then you have to log in into the SOA Composer. Let me just give me a minute. I have it somewhere as well where I can show you. Yeah. Guys, allow me a minute, please. Okay, so here, so what you need to do, so once you have this service identity domain and then service instance, what you need to do, you need to log in into the Oracle ERP SOA Composer using that URL like https colon your this domain, the Oracle ERP domain and then /SOA/composer. Once you log in into this composer, you will see the manage security button. When you click on this manage security button, you need to supply all these. Once you click on this manage security, you will see this manage credentials dialog box. And there you can provide the CSF key, the username of the OIC and then password and then register. If you are doing it first time, you can register. If your password has been changed after registering it, you can click on a update. So this is how you can register the CSF key, which is one of the main thing when you want to subscribe the events from ERP. I hope that makes sense to everyone.
Yes, uncle.
Any question, any doubt? It's very, very important to understand the complete flow when you are trying to interact with the ERP via the FBDI approach.
So, Ankur, basically, this is one-time activity. Let's say if I just define the CSF key in the system, so we don't need to do if, let's say, another developer trying to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So
this is the one time, the CSF key registration is the one-time activity.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So let's proceed further. Now, let me just log in into the integration cloud and we'll try to execute few things here. I will not be able to do the complete, but yes, whatever we can, we can. Guys, anyone has the ERP credential? Okay, no problem if you don't have. So let me just do one thing.
One question. So ERP credential means you are talking about Fusion instance or what?
Huh?
ERP credential means in which version you want that?
Which version? Which version do you have?
I'm asking, this integration will work with which version? Means Fusion or
the Fusion, the Oracle ERP Fusion.
Only Fusion version, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have that?
No, Fusion version I don't have.
Okay, no problem. Fine. So guys, what I have done, I have just pasted the URL, and I have taken this URL from my presentation. You can also do the same. So what I have done is I have just simply pasted the complete URL here in order to download that import supplier FBDI template. If you want to upload other stuff, you can simply go ahead and then you download Oracle AR FBDI template. So you can search something like this, and you will see here. Maybe go to the latest release, and here you can find out like cache management. You can see cache management, bag statement, data import. You can download that template from here, that too. Let's try to download this supplier import. So it will download one XSL file. Okay, so here this is the sample. This is the FBDI template which I have downloaded here. You have two sheets, instruction and CSV generation, and the second will contain the some sample data here. So let's try to generate that CSV file, that template. Once you click on this generate CSV file, maybe I have not enabled the macros. Let me just do one thing.
Ankur, it's a read-only file. You need to open it again.
Okay. But I don't say, just hold on. Let me just try to open this again. Let me just try to download it again. Okay. Open. Okay. Enable macros. Open as the intel content. I hope I am not able to open this. Open. Looks like my Microsoft Excel does not support this. Edit. Okay, no problem, guys. Anyone can share your screen, and then we'll show you a couple of things. If you can share, anyone can share your screen, please. Dheeraj?
I can share, but
yeah, Lalita, please share.
so that I can open this spreadsheet.
Yeah, please share. Are you able to share?
Yes, Ankur. Just give me a couple of seconds so that I can bring up this spreadsheet and then share. Yeah, I'm just sharing.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, let me know once you are fixing.
Yeah, it's coming up. Okay, fine. So you have downloaded it, right? Just okay, just open that.
Yeah. You wanted suppliers, right?
Mm-hmm. No,
Yeah, let me just make this.
supplier import. Okay, it's already there. Okay.
This is something.
Yeah. Can you please? Yeah. Now click on this generate. You don't have this. Oh no. Go to this first sheet. Yeah. Go down a little bit and click on this generate CSV file button. Okay. So when you click on this, it will generate one zip file having the sample files.
Yeah.
This one. Yeah.
So I'm just sending.
Yeah. Okay. So it will download the CSV file as well.
Yeah.
Fine. Now, if you can show this file, the zip file, please. Yeah. If you can extract this file to the zip
Okay.
file,
You want it?
or better if you can send can email to me, the zip file.
Okay. Okay. I'm using my office laptop. I will
Oh,
not be able to send any attachments. That's a
uh,
restriction from the
got it.
organization.
Got it. I would be needing that one actually. Why it is how I okay read only. I don't know how to make this editable. Anyone can download that generate zip file and please send it to me. You can do that, please.
So I'm logging from phone, so I need to log
No
on my
problem.
laptop. Otherwise, I can do.
Anyone can take this lead, please. Bala, Vibhuti, Deepak.
Uncle, could you please share the link so that we can download?
Okay, you do one thing. You just share your screen. I will guide you. Just open any browser. Yeah, and search here. Download supplier template. Download supplier Oracle FBDI template. You have to go to the Google first. I hope that will filter much. Let's see. Yeah, just open this one here.
Hello, Ankur.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, Piyush here. Actually, I have shared you the URL, username, and password for Fusion instance.
I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a test instance. Actually, I got it from Google. It's working.
Oh, cool. I will check that. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So import supplier. Okay, hold on. Then let me just simply send this to you. Okay. Share, not share.
It's
So I'm
like
just,
you have opened the inventory product module.
oh, no, this is to everyone. So I have just pasted that link over the Zoom chat. If you can take it from there. Hey Vibhuti, I have just shared this link over the Zoom chat.
Yes, Ankur, I had come to this link.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah. Can you click on this supplier import template.xlxm? Yeah. Okay. Enable editing. Yeah. Click on this generate CSV file. And then whatever zip file will be generated, please send it to me or email.
Ankur, may I know your email ID? I have downloaded and I'm sharing.
I am just pinging you over the Zoom chat. You can take it from there. Okay.
I have downloaded and I have attached in mail. Just
Yeah.
I have to.
I have just pinged you. I have just pinged you.
Okay, please.
Over the Zoom chat. Take it from there, please.
Okay.
Okay, you just send me. In meanwhile, let me just share my screen. Okay, fine. So Piyush has shared the credentials with me, okay, of the ERP, and let's try to first create the ERP adapter, ERP connection. So go to the integrations and then go to the connections, and from here search the ERP, Oracle ERP Cloud Adapter, and then select it. Here you can say ERP connection. You can select the role as a trigger and invoke, and then click on a create button. So your connection has been created. Let it open. Here your connection has been opened, and when you try to create the Oracle ERP cloud connection, you need to provide the ERP cloud host name, which will be the this one till.com. That is the domain name. You don't need to provide the last slash, and here as a security, you can provide the username password token or the authorization code credentials like client ID, client secret, or the user password token with PGP key support. If you want to, why PGP key support? If you want to upload the file into the USM after doing the encryption, then you have to upload the PGP key as well. But I'm using this username password token simply, and then here let me just enter the username password.
Sorry, can you come again, Ankur, on this point, PGP one?
So when you will, if you want to upload the file into the UCM, but before you upload, you want to encrypt that file. So you can use this policy, and in order to use that policy, you must have the PGP public file, and you have to upload the PGP file there.
Got it.
Just test the connection. And if everything is okay, the connection must be tested. Okay, let the connection to be tested. In meanwhile, I have opened the SOA composer here. You see, this is the Oracle ERP domain name, and then slash SOA and then slash composer. And here you see the manage security. When you click on the manage security button, you will see this manage credentials wherein you need to supply the CSF key, and then CSF key, how you can get that? You click here and then click on the about. Okay, maybe it's, let me just copy this and then paste it here. Go here about, and this is your identity domain. Just copy this one and then paste it here, and this is your service instance name, and then paste it here without space. Okay, OIC username, it is, let me just take the OIC username. And then password. And then register. Here you see you will see this one, successful registered the CSF key. Now your key has been registered successfully via the SOA composer. Let's go here, and here also the connection has been tested successfully. Save it. The connection should be saved and it should be in the configured state.
Hello, Ankur. Sorry, Tejeshwar here. As this is the PaaS environment and you showed the SaaS, how to go to SOA Composer directly? Is there any specific URL? Or?
So this is the URL. Na? So this is the SaaS composer only. So this is your SaaS URL. Then you need to append SOA and then composer.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, connection is configured successfully. Now let's go to the integration. Let me just download this zip file. Where is the zip file? Just hold on. I'm just trying to open the file. Okay, fine. Okay, so when I have downloaded, I have extracted that zip file. Under that CSV, under that zip file, you will see this file, wherein you will find some sample data as well. You need to create such files as the FBDI file before you try to upload the file into your ERP. So this is the FBDI template for import suppliers. So you can see if you go here, you will see there are a lot of columns here till EZ. Okay, so you need to create such kind of file in your ERP, in your OIC. So before, let me just try to create an integration now. So let me show you how to create the integration. So first, you need to pick the schedule orchestration pattern, and here you can say import suppliers. Sorry, I hope my screen is not visible to everyone.
Yes, it's not visible.
No problem. So what I did, I just created one import supplier as a scheduled orchestration. That's what I did only. Now, what is the first step that I need to perform, guys, here? Which I have explained in the presentation too. Anyone? I hope you remember the flow. Huh?
List the files.
Correct. So save. The first step, I need to list the CSV file. So for this, what I will do, I will use the FTP connection here. I'll say list all files. Next. And here I will use which operation? List files. And here I will say B11 and then FBDI. So here I will create one folder under B11 and then create one more folder, and here I will say start.csv. Whatever file I will have, I will list. List file recursively. Next and then done. So this step will list all the files. The second step, I need to make the for each. So here I'll say list response, file list, load more, and then I am just looping over the files, and here I'll say loop files. Current file. Create. Now in this step, what I'm doing, I am just looping over the files which I am listing from here. What is the next step? I need to use the FTP connection and then we'll
Move it to staging.
Download.
Absolutely download the file. Next, and which operation I should use here?
Download.
Download file. And which directory I should give here? I can give any directory, TMP. So let's say ABC, file will be ABC, and this is the important download directory. I am saying temp. So this temp directory will be created on staging. Next, and then finish. So here this ABC input directory file name I will configure in the mapper. Okay, done. So that it can read the current file. Download request, the current file, and then file name and then directory. Guys, I hope you understand what is that mapping all about. So this is the current file, this is the node, and that will hold that current file name, the current directory, and then I just map this file name to the directory, file name and then directory. Close. Now what is the next step I should perform?
Read the file into chunks.
Which action I should use here? Huh? So where I have downloaded the file on the stage, so which action I should use to read the file?
Stage file.
Yes. Read file in chunk. Next, and here which operation I should use? Read file in segment or read entire file?
Segment, I believe.
We can use read entire file too, but we will not do this because the file which we are trying to read, it may be more than 10 MB. So if you will do this read entire file, your integration may get failed. So always use this read file in segments. And I will use the configure file reference. And here So which one I should expand and what expression I should give here? Anyone?
Download response.
Huh?
Download response.
Correct. And what should I map here, guys?
File name.
File name.
Here I need to map this file reference, not the file, because I have selected the file reference radio box. I can choose the file name directly too, but I have the file reference, so I will use the file reference here because I have selected this option. If you will select no, then you can give the file name and then directory.
Okay.
Now here I need to supply the CSV file, and what CSV file it will be? It will be the source CSV file, right? So what I am going to do here, let me just open that Excel file, this one. Okay, so this is the import supplier file which I have downloaded. So what I'm going to do, I am going to take few things from here to generate one sample file. Okay, let me just take a few data. Let me take this data. Okay, and then let me just do one thing. Let me just go here. Oh, sorry. Format, prevent editing. Oh, sorry. Okay. Here, from here. Okay. Okay, so I have copied few data here. Okay. Let me just delete this one, delete this one. Delete. Okay, so I am saying this is my source file. So let me just save this file as a CSV file only. So here I am saying this is the CSV file, and then I am keeping this here, and I'll say supplier. Okay, fine. So I have kept that file there, and let me just do one thing. Let me just move that file on my FTP server. Okay. Okay, that I will do later, no problem. Okay. So go here. So you guys, you understood what I have done now. I have just created one sample source file. So let me just choose that file now. And that will be from batch 11 supplier.csv. Okay. So let me say all optional. And let me just say this is the mandatory only. Okay. What happened to this now? Oh man. Stage 5. Page. Next. Refiling segments. Yes. Okay, let me say make mark all as optional. I can make only one as a mandatory. Let me just remove that star. Yeah, what is happening? This is too much. Stage 5. 3 file in chunk. Next. 2 file in segments. Yes. Download response. ICS files. Load more. Save. Okay. Exit. Next. Next. Choose file. Supplier.csv. Okay. Supplier and then suppliers. And let me just do this. Fine. Mark all as optional. And I will say this batch ID. Click next and then done. Okay. Guys, what is the next step? What should I do? Any idea, anyone?
Property file, I believe.
Properties file. So I have not created the FBDI file as of yet. I am just downloaded the file and then reading the file in the chunk, the source file. First, I need to create what file? FBDI file, right?
Yes, yes, correct.
So I will create the FBDI file on the stage file only. Okay, using the stage file action. Create suppliers FBDI. You can say next, and which operation I should use? Write file, and supplier file name will be, you can say, suppliers.csv. Okay. And then here specify the output directory, and then output directory will be, I'll say FBDI only. Okay, so I am creating the FBDI file on /FBDI location. Exit expression builder. Next, CSV file. Now here help me which file I should give here.
FPDI file.
Huh? Yes,
FPDI file, the
yes,
supplier.
which I have generated from the template, right?
Yes.
Correct. So was that P O Z, right? Yeah. So here, this is the file which I need to generate. Now here I'll say supplier and then supplier set, and I will say uncheck this, and there C1, C2, C3, C4. I'll say mark all as optional, and I can say this is the one field, this is the mandatory field. And here you will see you will have lot of fields here. Next, and then done. So here I need to map the source data to the target data. Now here, when you will do this, you will see the element will be in C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7. So what you need to do, download read file in chunk response. So this is the source data. So what you should do, you should map this supplier to supplier first, and now you must know that which field I should map with which element to the FBDI. So this mapping you have to know already. I am doing this blindly. Okay. Supplier name new, but yes, you should do it carefully while when you do the actual integration. Okay, so I have mapped all the source field till C15, and in the last is C156. So create a target node. In the last field, you need to map, you need to do the hard coded string as a AND. Something like this. Now your mapping is done. If you want to perform some transformation, you can do that too. Validate and then close. Fine. Now this read file in chunk, this scope, what it will do? It will create the FBDI file on the stage. After this read file in chunk, what should I do? What is the next step, guys?
Create the properties file.
Huh?
Properties file.
Absolutely. I need to generate the properties file. So again, stage file. And here I will say generate properties file. Next, and I will say write file, specify file name. This can be any file name, let's say supplier dot properties. Save and then exit expression builder. Now tell me which directory I should give here. Anyone, any idea?
Same where the
Where
FBDI
FPDI file is there, the
That's
supplier
correct.
FPDI file.
Absolutely. That is at the FBDI only. Make sure you will give the same path which you have given to when you have configured the FBDI file, because you need to zip both the file. Exit. Next, and here I need to provide the sample format. So let me just do one thing. Let me just go here, new, here, okay, and format would be plain text, and here I will say C1, C2, C3, and then C4, C5, C6, C7, and then C8. The 3 parameter will be your path, job name, and then zip file prefix. And I showcase in the presentation, we need to supply 5 parameters for the suppliers one. So I'll say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then H. Okay, let me just save this file now. And here, let me say properties.csv. Go here and then select this. Okay, so here C1, C2, C3, everything is there. Now I'll say property and then property set. Fine. Next, and then finish. Open this file, and what I need to do, I need to hard code the values here. C1, C2, C3, C4, C5. So here, let me just say create target node, and then let me just take the path name from my presentation. Okay. So this is the path, the import suppliers. And here, let me take this one only. Okay, so I will generate the zip file in this format. The file, the zip file name I will keep in this particular, on this particular name. Okay. Create target node, and here I am saying that will be new. That will be 5. Sorry, Y. And if there are few other optional element, what you can do, you can put like this, hash null. Sorry. Fine. So here that will generate my properties file. Validate and then close. Now till this step, I am able to generate the FBDI file as well as the properties file. What is the next step? What should I do?
Zip both the files.
Absolutely. So use this stage file action and I'll say zip files. Next. And here we have one zip files. When you use this zip file, you have to specify the zip file name. So here I am saying concat this one. Okay. And then I will put current date. I'll say current date. Okay. And then the extension will be dot zip. Okay. Save. Okay. Exit. Next. Sorry. Specify the directory to zip and which directory I should give here, guys.
FTP.
Huh?
FBDI.
FBDI, right? Where I have written the FBDI file as well as the properties file. So when you zip any folder, you have to give the folder name. Specify the output directory where you want to keep that zip file. So you can give any location, let's say zip. So that zip file, the zip folder will be created on the stage. Now, if you want to verify your zip file to check that the FBDI file has been generated correctly, the properties file has been generated correctly or not. So what you can do, you can say the FTP adapter, you can put that zip file on your FTP location to check it. And then later you can delete this action. Right zip file. Next. So I will use simply this write file operation sky, and here I will say v11 and I will say my suppliers zip dot zip. Okay. Next, I will say no because there's a no format of the zip file. Next, and then done. Now here I will map. So this is the temporary step. I can delete that later. This is not required. And when you do the zip file, you see zip file response, it will give you the file reference. File reference, you see the file reference. And if you want to give the same zip file name, you can map this as well, properties file name. Validate and then close. Now, what is the final step? I need to call my ERP adapter to kick off the job. Let's say import suppliers. Next. So here, when you use the ERP cloud adapter, you will see different operations like query, create, update, or delete. You can use this in order to query the ERP, in order to create any data, update data, delete information. If you click on the next button, you will see the different options there. It may take time. Yeah, here you see browse object services, business services. You can select any one of the business objects to perform any operation. Like by default, it is selected the first one, account service, and from here you can select the operation which you want to create. So this is based on the SOAP only. So you can select the service or the REST resources as well. Go back, and the second option is to import the bulk data via the FBDI. Perform FBDI compliant bulk operations such as import assets, general, bank statement, payable, and then so on and so forth. Send files to ERP cloud. If you want to upload the files into the UCM, you can use it. And I have showcased while creating the connection. If you want to upload the encrypted file, then you can select the different policies like with the PGP one. So we need to use this import bulk data into the ERP cloud. Click next. And then it will load all the jobs, and I need to search the job and then select that to import the bulk data. It takes time. It is because there are a lot of things in the ERP and it tries to load everything. So it will take some time. But guys, I hope it's clear to everyone.
Ankur, I have one doubt. If that FBDI template has a multiple tabs, that is the generally in items upload or customers upload, there is the multiple tabs. So in that case, how it will be achievable? That
So
is,
you need to create multiple. So for each and everything, like in supplier address, so you have to create different files.
Okay.
Yeah, you cannot create different sheets in the single CSV file. You have to create a different files.
Okay.
So here you see you have to search your job. Let's say import suppliers. Here, okay, import suppliers. And when you select the job, you can see the UCM account, you can see the import job name and then package name here too as well. /Oracle apps ESS PRC POZ supplier import, which we have taken from the ERP. So you can take it from there as well. Reuse job property file uploaded separately in the respective UCM account. This is the important option here, guys. So you have seen we have generated one properties file. Okay. So if you already have that properties file in the UCM somewhere and you want to reuse it, so you can select that option. You can provide the job property file name, and then job property file name will be taken automatically from your UCM. So might be in that UCM account, you have already uploaded that properties file. So you don't need to generate that properties file here, which means it's a reusability. Next. And here you need to register for the callback. You are interested in the callback or not. If yes, you can simply click this enable callback. Next, and then finish. And here you need to map only two properties: import bulk data, ICS file, the file reference of the zip file, which is this one, file reference, and the second is the file name. Right? Validate and then close it. Now my integration is completed. Let me just enable the tracking here. Start time, save it, and I need to keep the file on this particular FBDI location in the B11 directory. Okay, I'm just creating one directory here, which is called my FBDI. Document. So what is the file which I have generated, which is my suppliers.csv. Okay, so I simply kept the file on my FTP server. Now, before I run this integration, I will create one more integration for the callback. So for the callback, I will create another integration basis on the app-driven orchestration pattern. And here I will say import suppliers callback. Okay, and then create. When you create this, you need to select the ERP connection on the trigger endpoint, and let's say import suppliers callback. Next. So here you will see configure. So here you will see receive business events raised within the ERP cloud, and this is the second option which you need to select if you want to create this integration to get the callbacks. So here you will see receive callback message upon completion of the FBDI bulk import job submitted via the another integration, means the schedule integration. So select this option, and here you have to search the same job which you have kicked off from your parent integration. Or maybe it has not been, it's still, yeah. Import suppliers. So you have to select the same job which you have kicked off. Next. And
what is the rest two option, Ankur? What is, can you put some light?
So this option receive business events raised within the ERP cloud. So if you want to subscribe any events like the create purchase order, create invoices like ARAP, create suppliers, create cases. So you can use this first option, and then accordingly you have to select the particular object from here. So the third, receive request from ERP cloud application explicitly sent from the Groovy script. Maybe it is the business events which will be sent by the Groovy script, which is in the ERP. The third option will be for that only. Done. Now, what you will get in this callback actually? You will get few things. One as the log file, and that will be a zip file. So what you can do, you can download that zip file onto your FTP server. Let's say write log file. Next, I'll say write file ASCII. I'll say this, and I will say log.zip. Next, I will choose no, next, and then done. Let's try to map here. Here you see ERP import bulk data event. So the complete structure will be something like this. ICS file, you see the file reference. So this file reference will have the zip file reference. So I will map this to this. Validate, and you can use this to create a notification. Close. Save, and then tracking, and let's say summary status. And then document ID. Maybe that integration will not kick off. It is because my data is not correct. Let's try to activate this integration also. Okay, fine. Now let's try to run your import suppliers integration. Go here. It's in progress. Yeah, it succeeded, which means the ERP adapter has been kicked off. Now I should get one zip file on the FTP as well. So let me just open my FTP. Here. Okay. So let me just go back, and then here you see POZ supplier init 2021-51z.zip. So this is the zip file which has been created here. Let me just download this here. And then go there. Okay. Guys, do you see two files? One is the suppliers.csv and the second is supplier.properties. So if you open that CSV file, you can see here. You can see the complete file here and the data. You can see at the end as well. So this is the CSV file which has been generated, as well as the open with editor. So do you see that file as well, guys? The properties file which I have generated. So the zip file contains two files now. Let's go back. Here, let me see if I have received callback or not. Maybe I will not receive that. Yeah, here you see this has been received. Import supplier, but it has been aired out. Maybe some issues. A message processing failed, errors are triggered. You can see the error here. Maybe there is some issues. If you go here, you can see unable to verify the request sent by the client application. The request sent to the OIC flow is rejected. check whether the request has right set of security credentials attached. Unable to verify the callback. There might be some credential issues due to which the callback has not been processed. But that's fine. I will check this offline, guys. Guys, do you understand this the whole process of this FBDI and then callback? Is this clear or any confusion, any doubt?
Ankur, where we put this initially, where we put this file? Which location?
Which file?
This a template file, whatever.
Huh?
A template file where you put which location you have put.
So I have directly imported that file on the ERP now. But for a temporary purpose, I try to keep on the FTP, but this is a temporary only to see the file is generated successfully or not. I can delete that. I don't require these write FTP file.
Okay.
But here you see whatever zip file I have generated here, I simply given the reference in the import suppliers. It is clear to everyone? Any question? Any doubt? Yes or no?
Yes, Ankur, I think, yeah, this part is clear. I think we have to do some, ourselves to do some, exercise. So we get to know that actually where we stuck it, and then maybe we'll come on, later on with the plenty of questions. Not now at the moment, but as far as everything is clear to me.
But for each and every import, the approach will remain the same, but it might be possible that there are few more processing which you need to perform. You may need to generate different file, you may need to do some transformation logic, but yes, the flow remain the same.
Okay.
And Rupak here, I have a question. So we have done this only for the supplier, right? But in the real time, I think we will have the supplier contact, supplier sites and everything. So how do we do that in one integration, or do we have to do it in a separate integration?
No, you can do in the same integration also. So if you have a multiple sources file, you can again read file one by one, generate the different files like the supplier address, supplier contacts, and zip all the files and then upload.
I think, Ankur, the Rupa concern is if we want to just, upload the master and detailed relationship data file.
Okay.
So let's say we have in supplier, so suppliers, we have a XYZ. So it should have the two addresses or sites. So only those supplier will upload, on the Oracle side. So how do we do that?
So you mean, okay. So for these two, like supply and supplier address, so there you want to generate two separate files, or you want to have a single file? So how ERP takes actually either two separate files on the FBDI or a single one?
No, in the Fusion, that is the only standard template. In the template, there are so many tabs. If you take customer or supplier or whatever, so there are so many tabs. In that only, once we are fill that data into the different tabs, we are submit the job, then automatically it will takes all this sequentially.
So you see here, for the suppliers, we have a different template. For the import supplier address, you have a different template, which means you have to generate two CSV file. Absolutely yes. In the Fusion, you will pass both the files, and then Fusion will process both the files automatically. But It depends on the template to template. If you are uploading this template, then of course the suppliers will only the suppliers will be imported. If you want to upload suppliers address as well, then you have to generate one more CSV file separately in the same integration.
So how would the control be just in the integration? Just can you just show go to the integration once and
which one?
We put the supply. Yeah, we have the
Which
supplier
one?
import, right? Import suppliers, right?
Which one you are saying?
Yeah, you can just show the import supplier side. Where do we put that one in the integration part?
This one you are talking about?
Yeah, go to the integration. And if you want to put the supplier sides in the integration.
Okay. So what you can do now? So let's suppose, let me just So it totally depends. Okay. So it might be possible that in the source file, you have both the things, the supplier and the supplier address as well. But also it might be possible that you have two separate files. So if you have a single file, what you have to do, you have to put one more stage file action here and then generate the address file as well. If you have two separate files, then of course you have to, before you import this job, again you have to read the address file from the source and then generate your address file, then zip and then upload. There will be some transformation logic for sure if you have single source file which you have put in your mapper.
Yeah, so do we if we have two separate files, that is supplier and supplier sites, then we need to have in the list file activity.
Yes.
You scroll to the left.
Yes.
Do we need to do the list all files will take the two files, right?
So okay, so let's suppose you have listed both the files, supplier and then supplier sites. Okay, so how you would know the first loop is taking the supplier one or the supplier side? Then you have to have one switch here. If supplier is there, then go to this flow. If supplier side is there, then go to this flow.
Okay, got it. Now I got it. Yeah, that's my question. Thanks.
Any other question, anyone?
Is it possible to show on the Fusion instance, I mean, in your test instance or somewhere it is?
Can you repeat that?
Is it possible to show in the one supplier creation live in the Fusion in your test instance or somewhere it is, or maybe next class or something?
So I'll tell you, you try at your end first. If you face an issue, you do let me know. I'll tell you, I have limited knowledge of the Fusion. I don't know actually how this supplier and supplier sites and other stuff works. But yes, the approach will remain the same. If you face an issue, you can come back to me and then I will be happy to solve your problem.
Okay.
Okay.
One more question here. The error, the last class, I believe someone asked about the error handling.
Error handling, I will cover tomorrow.
Okay, because that is the important thing when we are doing.
Yeah, I know that. I still remember exception handling I need to cover. That is the only topic which is left in the integration part, which I will cover tomorrow for sure. So I know this is very, very important.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Now the next thing I wanted to show you how to consume BI reports. Piyush, do we have any BI report somehow hosted on this particular environment as of now?
I need to check it because it was a test instance just now. When you asked for the access, I searched in the Google and one of my friends sent me the link.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
need to check it from me.
No problem. So Piyush, if you don't have it right away, better if you can simply generate one BI report if you know it tomorrow, and then we can continue with the BI report tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. The simple one with one select query, select few columns from the upper all people have will work for me with limited data, and the output should be CSV.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Okay. So we have time, guys. So what we can do, we can cover the exception handling if you don't mind, guys. Okay. So let's see how exception handling works. It's very, very important to understand. So let me just simply create one integration here, app driven. Okay. Or we already have it. Hold on. We already have the, sorry, I'm in the connection actually. ATP. This one. Okay. So guys, we have created this integration. I hope you understand this integration, which we have created for the ATP Salesforce orchestration. If I see this here, you see, wherein I created one REST API, which takes this payload and try to insert the data into my ATP database. So let's try to hit this API. Let's try to test this one. Body, go here. Let's put account ID 111. Close date. Let's say 21/12/22. Opportunity ID 12. Opportunity name. Opportunity stage. Guys, do let me know. Do you think that integration will success or fail? Let's test it. Here you see request has been accepted. It will not throw any error here. It is because the integration is one-way integration. And if you see here, integration has been added out. Let's see this error. And here you see select ID name from account where ID equals to 111. So this 11 account ID is not valid, and we are trying to make a query in the SFDC, and here the 11 is not the valid ID. Hence, SFDC adapter has thrown an error with this error. So let's suppose you want to send this error, you want to handle this exception, and you want to throw this error to your support team. But before I go there, let me just open one more thing, duplicate tab. And here, if you go to the monitoring, go to the integration, go to the errors list, you can see this integration has been failed. Okay. Now for the failed integration, the one-way integration, which has been failed, you have an option to resubmit it. Resubmit means you can reprocess those integration which got failed, but only the integration which are one-way asynchronous, you have an option to resubmit it. When you resubmit it, it will be processed from the scratch. Scratch means it will start from the first activity only. So you can resubmit those integration which are asynchronous one way. So you can, if you have multiple failed instance, you can do that too. You can select from here. Let's suppose, let me just try to hit one more time. Let me just try to hit one more time. Okay, accepted. This integration should also get failed. Okay, 3 times. So you can submit the integration one by one by using this option, or you can simply check this option and then you can do the bulk resubmission as well. Resubmit. All the 3 integration has been resubmitted and one job ID will be created. And let's suppose out of these 2 integrations, one got success and another 2 failed. Then the integration which got success will be removed from this errors list and only 2 integration will be visible here. And you can see the fault location, the integration got failed at the Salesforce connection. If you want to view the complete error, you can view it here too. Right? Now, how to handle this error? So let me just deactivate this integration. So how to handle exceptions? In order to handle exceptions in the integration, we have one action called scope. Scope. Scope is one of the actions provided by Integration Cloud which can handle the exceptions. The scope is nothing. It is, you see, the manage a group of actions. The scope action is a collection of child actions and invokes that can have their own fault handlers. So let me just go here, and this scope is basically used to handle exception. It is similar to the try and catch. So let me just simply drag and drop, and here let's say scope block and then create. Now here, when you drag and drop a scope action, you will see one block here, which means scope under that scope you can put the different actions, but the lifetime of these actions will be under this scope only. If you have configured any assign activity, then under that assign variable you have created different other variables. So these variables will be limited to this scope. It cannot be visible outside of the scope. When you drag and drop any scope, it will create one handler, and the name of the handler is default handler, where you can handle the exceptions. So this is just like your try block where you put different actions, and in the default handler you actually catch the exception, and whatever you want you can do that. So by default it will show the default handler, but when you will try to put different actions here, it will try to add other named fault handlers as well. So you can reposition it. Click on this reposition. Reposition is basically one important thing which will allow you to reposition actions from one place to another. But not all actions can be repositioned, like the scope. You can just pick that up, but you cannot drop it anywhere. But if you pick that up after enabling it, you will be able to reposition it. Sorry. Where you see this green, blue, then you can put there. Similarly, you can put it there. But you cannot reposition the scope block. Similarly, if you have configured the for each, you can also not do that. So which means the blocks which contains the child elements, you cannot reposition them. Similarly, the stage file with stale files in segments, you cannot reposition that. Now here, if you open this fault handler, now you will see another named fault handler has also been added related to this SFDC adapter. Salesforce, you see get account name, get account name, get account name, get account name, get account name. The default handler is also there. So these are the named fault handler related to this SFDC adapter. So the SFDC adapter can throw its own exceptions, like invalid as object, invalid field fault, invalid query, and the related exceptions you can handle it here. When you open any one of the named fault handler, you will reach there. Similarly, every named default handler will have their own default handler, and whatever you have configured, it will be checked. Here you see. And whatever actions you want to perform here, you can do that. Here you see. If you want to delete that, you can simply go in the named default handler and then delete it. It will delete that particular default handler. You can see. Similarly, this one. Now I want to only handle this default handler. So if the exceptions are not handled by any one of the named default handler, the control will go to the default handler. Okay. And here you can perform any actions. So what I want to send an error to a particular guy. So here we have the notification action, which will be used to send the email notification. Let's say send email notification. Create. Now here you need to provide from, to, subject, and then body. In the notification, you cannot do CC, you cannot do BCC. Let's say from. So there's a one standard email provided by Oracle, which is called no-reply. So you can use this email address to send the notifications. So I will suggest to take all these from and to addresses from the lookups and configure it here. So you can use lookup value function here. And now you can provide the list of recipients. If there are multiple recipients, you can do comma separated. Okay, you can provide the subject here. And here you will see we have one object called self. So this self object is the auto object which will be available in each and every mapper. So if you want to get the integration name dynamically, you can use the self object and then expand integration, the name of the integration, the identifier, and then version. Similarly, runtime, you can get the instance ID who has invoked that. You can get the environment details as well. So here what I'm going to say, I'm saying concat integration dot failed, and you can see the integration name. Right? And here you can give the body, you can give the body in the HTML as well as in the plain text. If you want to give in the HTML, you have to use the HTML tags like this. Okay. Let me just give a plain body height team. Integration got failed. Below are the details. So here, if you want to give the dynamic values here, so how you can give it? You can give, let's say, integration. You can say error code. And if you need to provide a dynamic values here, you have to first create a variable from here and then do this curly braces and then provide the variable name. So let me just create a variable here. Let's say error code and then provide the expression. So when you handle the exceptions, in that you will see this fault object. So this fault object will be visible in the default handler. You can, here you see three elements: error code, reason, and then details. Let's say error details, error code, error reason, and then error details. Fine. And now you can use this error code variable here. So whatever error code will come, it will go in the body. Similarly, you can say error reason. You can take this variable, copy here, and then paste it here. Error details. If you want to send any attachment with this email, you can click on this plus button, and here you have to provide the file reference. But we don't have any file reference, so I'm not using that as of now. Validate and then close. Right? Now, what I have done, I have handled the exceptions here. Okay, so here you see map to insert. This is also failing. Why? Because I am using one of the response of this mapper here. Oh, sorry, I am using the response of this activity here. So if I simply remove it, then, or what you can do, you can assign one variable here, assign where, let's say account ID, okay, account name, sorry, and let's say close, and then you can use the assign activity here. Let's say the assign create, and I will reassign account name, and if it will success, then query response, query result, records, load more, and then name. Then I will use this variable to map it. Now, delete target node, and what I will map now, I will map this account name. Sorry, my bad. Account name, and then op name will come from here. Why? Okay, fine. Now what will happen now? The integration will run. Integration will go in the scope. It will try to get the account name. If this gets failed, this activity will not be executed. It will go to the default handler now directly, will send a notification, will come out from the scope, will execute this option, which means it scope will prevent your integration to terminate if any exception comes. So it will continue the integration. Let's try to activate this integration now, and we'll see what will happen. Okay. Test body, and let's try to run this. Again, it will say 202 accepted because I am not returning any response. But let's see. Here you see integration also got failed here. Also, it also got failed here. It might be possible due to the, yeah, it is because of the date. But let me say, let's try to insert the blank date and then test. Okay. Let's go here and then go to the integration. Here you see one got succeeded. This got succeeded, the last one. Here you see error, but integration, the message has been inserted into the database. Well, Ankur perspective, account name is blank, close date is blank. Let me just open my email. So here you see I have received email, integration got failed. The integration name here, you can see hi team, integration got failed. Below are the details, error code, unexpected error result, error reason, invalid query filter, error details. So this is the complete error details. And integration is in the succeeded state. Why? Because I have handled the exception. Why it got failed? It got failed because it also has been failed during insertion, you see. Guys, do you understand that? Okay. Now, let me just go back here. Let me first clone that integration. Now, let me just deactivate this integration now. So let's suppose what you want. You want that after the integration got failed here, you want to handle that error. You want to send the notification, and after that, you want to rethrow your error, which means you don't want your integration to continue. So for this, we can rethrow an error using the rethrow fault. So this rethrow fault will rethrow the error, and integration will be terminated. And when this rethrow the error, it will go to the global fault. So global fault is the super catch. If nothing is handled in the integration, integration will reach your global fault if you have configured that. You can see, return to the integration and then go to the global fault. So this is the second way to handle exception. And here you can call any one of the adapter here, or you can call any one of the action here. So let me just put a logger activity simply here. Let's say global fault. Create. Okay, and in the global fault, you will see the complete fault. If you want to print it, what you can do, here we have one action, sorry, one function called under the string. I hope it is not there. String get content is string. So get content and string, you just put the fault. So it will print the fault as a string, complete fault. Okay. Yes. Fine. Now let's close this and try to activate it again. Fine. Now tell me one thing. I have tested this integration. What will be the status of this integration? It will be fail or it will be success. What it should be?
It will be failed, I believe.
Here you see the instance ID, this one, and notification sent with following details, fault handler, rethrow fault, and it has reached to the global fault. Log message, this is the payload, and you can see the complete payload here, which we have printed in the logger as a complete string. But if you go here, if you refresh it, it is the error, not the success one. Why? Because we have rethrown the error. And here you can see it has not reached to the ATP insertion because we have rethrown the error from my default handler. But you still have the option to resubmit it. You can see. But let's suppose your integration instances, let's suppose you have built one integration earlier and it got failed. Then you will see the same in the error list and you will have an option to resubmit it. But later you have changed the integration and then tested. So both the earlier errored instance will not be visible here. because you have modified your integration after the error out. Only the latest error out integration will be visible here. So this is one-way integration. Now let's take this integration and let me just make this integration as the synchronous one. So synchronous ones mean, let me just enable the response here. Guys, just 10 more minutes. So I will configure this payload, this endpoint to receive the response next, and then here I will configure the JSON response and I will say status and then error message. You can say error code. Okay. Next. Update. Fine. Now your integration is synchronous. So here, let me just do one thing. Here I can insert a mapper here. Okay, so this is the response mapper. Here you will see everything. Status, error message, and then error code. Now let me just send our error message. Let's say create target node. Let's say success. And then what? Close. Let's try to activate this integration now and let's see what will happen. Okay, go to the body. Let me say account ID 111. Let me you see the status is success and integration got failed here. No message to display. It is because we have recovered, we have handled the error here. Now the integration is, you get the status as success. Okay. Now deactivate this integration. Let me just do one thing. Now let me just reposition everything here. This mapper also. Okay. And now go to the fault handler and then default handler. And after sending the notification, I want to send the response message to caller as well. So I will map here. I can do the mapping here. And now in the status, I can say fail. And similarly, scope block fault, and here you say error code and the error details here. Let's validate and then close this. Now let's try to test it again and we'll see what will happen. You see, status fail error message, the complete error message you can see here, and then error code. If you go here, this time your integration will be in the succeeded state. And because we have handled the exception. If you want to see the status as the failed mode, what you can do? You can simply go ahead here and then rethrow your error. And what will happen? Notification will be sent, the mapping will happen, it will go to the global fault, save. I don't have anything in the global fault, but that's fine. Save and then close. Body. And here you see, you will not see the status and you will not see the error message which you have configured. It is because after doing the mapping, you have rethrown the fault, so it has reached to the global fault and the default error will come here. And this time your integration will be in the errored state. If you go to the errors here, you will not see the integration here. If you go here, this is the integration instance actually, okay? The 1.4. So 1.4 is not here. You see the 1.4 instance is there, but you don't have the resubmit option. Why? Because this integration is the synchronous integration. Hence, for the synchronous integration, you will not see the resubmit options, which means only the integration which are one-way synchronous, you can only resubmit them. So this is how you can handle exceptions of any type. Any question, anyone, please? Is this clear to everyone?
Ankur, this is not very clear. Once we do, then question will be arise.
Absolutely, yes. You have to do practice for sure. You do one thing, you just go through the video today. If you have any question, you can ask tomorrow and later as well.
Sure.
But yes, till the time you will do practice, you will not be able to understand much. I have just shown you 2 or 3 use cases, but when you will do your live project, there will be multiple scenarios to handle exceptions. But I have shown you how to handle exception, and then you can use the same in different scenarios to handle errors differently.
Right.
Uncle Rupak here, I have a question. So for now, what we did was we just had a exception scope for the SFTC adapter, right? So this exception, this scope is applicable to any of the activity, right? If at all we wanted
so scope is the
whatever it is.
Yeah, scope is the independent activity. Whatever actions you want to perform under that, you can do that. Whatever action. Instead of trigger, except trigger, sorry. The trigger.
And also we can do it on the multiple actions also, right? If you want, we can put it one scope for the adapter and another one for the assign or whatever it is, negative values are not allowed.
Yeah, nested scope is there. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
But yes, try to practice. Any question, do let me know. Okay, guys, I'm good for today's session. Any question, any confusion, do let me know. If not today, you can ask tomorrow and then in the further sessions too. I have one more thing to cover, two things. One is how to recover the unsaved changes, and the second is I will show you the BI report tomorrow. And Piyush, better if you can share the BI report early so that I can check that it's working or not.
Okay, I will share it.
Yeah.
Good, last question. We have errors like user defined and system errors.
Yes.
So today what we saw by using the default handler, the system errors only which was thrown. But if we have a user defined errors or say business errors.
No, so there is no user defined error actually. So what user defined error? Let's here you have seen I have created 3 response parameters here, right?
Yes, error code, error message, and
status, error message, error code. What I have done, I have given the system generated message. So instead of having the system generated, you can give some friendly message. Anyways, I am sending the notification because this is the message will be seen to the consumer and there is no meaning for that consumer. So you can send this friendly message in this error message so that they can know something and send this notification to the operations team so that they can understand the exact message.
good. So usually because for the IT team, the standard messages will be easy for debugging, but whereas for the business users, they need a, as you said, user-defined messages, which we will say basic using business meaning, which what is the issue and what need is missing there.
Like absolutely. So depending on your situation, let's suppose there are different errors might be. One is the invalid, ones might be the SFDC is down and other stuff. So you have the named fault handler as well. Okay, there you can configure the different notification and then accordingly you can define your error messages there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But, as you said, there is no user defined. Whatever is the system that. Yeah, you showed that email also. Basically, the business user or the IT team would be interested. What exactly it does.
Yes.
Yeah, tomorrow. So probably once we practice, then only we will be able to ask.
Absolutely. So if you are not able to practice till tomorrow, you can ask me in further sessions too.
Okay, fine, thanks.
Okay, guys. So let's wrap up the session for the day, and we'll meet tomorrow same time. Thank you. Bye bye.